Hello and welcome to Viper Sports Network's coverage of the 2019 Marsh One Day Cup. You're currently listening to our first pre-match preview for this season, where we'll be talking about today's upcoming match between home side Western Australia and defending champions Victoria. I'm your host James, and I'll be talking you through all the teams and players ahead of what promises to be a cracking game. We will also be discussing the rules for this season's Fantasy League in closer detail, and I will also be revealing my fantasy team for the opening 6 matches, so stick around for that. We'll start by looking at possible 11s for the two sides, and we'll start with the home side, Western Australia, who loom as a major threat this season. The Warriors boast 4 members of Australia's World Cup squad, 3 guys who played one-day cricket for Australia recently, as well as Ashes players Cameron Bancroft and potentially Mitchell Marsh later in the tournament. Word from the Warriors is that Shaun Marsh was nursing a finger injury going into the tournament, but he has been named in the 13-man squad, so he should be opening the batting for the Warriors today. My only question is who will be joining him, Darcy Short or Cameron Bancroft? Short, of course, made that 257 against Queensland last season, as well as 637 runs at an average of 53 in the Big Bash League. So Short should be joining Marsh at the top of the order, with Bancroft to bat at 3. With Mitchell Marsh unavailable, Hilton Cartwright will likely come in 4th, ahead of Marcus Stoinis and acting captain Ashton Turner. Josh Philippe will take the gloves for the Warriors after he made 304 runs at 30.4 in last season's Big Bash League, playing for the Sydney Sixers. The Warriors' bowling attack also looks set to feature Ashen Agar, Nathan Coulter-Nile, Andrew Tye and Jai Richardson. Defending champions Victoria prepared for this season by playing 3 practice matches against New Zealand side Northern Districts in Melbourne last week. Victoria's squad also features World Cup players Aaron Finch, Peter Hanscom and Glenn Maxwell, with Ashes squad members Marcus Harris, Peter Siddle and James Pattinson set to feature later in the tournament. There can be no doubt Aaron Finch will be opening the batting, but without Marcus Harris we are unsure as to who will join him. Sam Harper opened the batting with him at the Melbourne Renegades during the Big Bash, but with Peter Hanscom acting as captain and wicket-keeper, that's unlikely. That might pave the way for Travis Dean to open the batting, ahead of Will Pucovski, Hanscom, Glenn Maxwell and Nick Manson. Matthew Short or Mackenzie Harvey could feature at number 7 for Victoria. Harvey made 162 runs in an impressive campaign for the Melbourne Renegades in last season's Big Bash League, while Short made 65 against the Renegades last season, playing for the Adelaide Strikers. Victorians' bowling stocks will be weaker without Siddle and Patterson, but they still boast spinner John Holland, as well as Jackson Coleman, Chris Tremaine and Will Sutherland, who took 5 for 45 against Queensland in last season's opening match at Townsville. We are certainly set for a cracking game this afternoon against Western Australia and Victoria. Victoria, of course, the defending champions, looming like a major threat for the tournament, but the Western Australians also look like a threat this season. As you know, I predicted Victoria to win the tournament in our massive preview show in the last podcast, if you want to go and check that out. Shameless plug. And, of course, Western Australia are who I picked to face them in the final come November. So my fantasy team for this season, I'm going to run you through that in just a second. Make sure you get your fantasy team in down below in the comments. But my 2 openers for my fantasy team this season are Aaron Finch and Daniel Hughes. Aaron Finch, of course, will be captain, so he will get double points on offer for captains. And Daniel Hughes, of course, made 87 in a practice match for New South Wales just last week. Curtis Patterson comes in at number 3, another New South Wales batsman, but I believe he will play well this season, as will Jordan Silk, who is currently acting captain for Tasmania, with Tim Payne and Matthew Wade out. Marnus Labuschagne will slot in for Queensland and will also slot into my team, as well as Victoria's Glenn Maxwell. Alex Carey will act as the wicket-keeper for my team. He'll also be vice-captain. Vice-captain's getting 1.5 times the points, so bonus points for Alex Carey, for all the runs he will score this season. Michael Neser, just like Lavish Gagné, comes back into the Queensland squad from the Ashes squad. He's in my team as well. I'm backing Neser to take bags of wickets this season. He took a bunch of wickets in Australia's inter-squad match in the UK, as well as a couple of wickets against Derbyshire in the tour match over there in the UK. So I expect Neser to take lots of wickets. I've gone for a double Richardson's next. I've got Jai Richardson from WA. He's obviously a major threat. He took a bunch of wickets in that one game for the Scorchers during the Big Bash. He played fantastically well, so I'm expecting him to do really well. Kane Richardson was also leading wicket taker for across the whole competition in the Big Bash League last season, so he makes my team, with Billy Stanlake to come in at number 11, another Queenslander, but I think Big Billy, he played well for the Adelaide Strikers, so I'm backing Stanlake to take more wickets for Queensland. I've also got two subs, and they are Sam Harper, who was very impressive across the Big Bash League last season, opening up for the Melbourne Renegades, and Riley Meredith, who was also very impressive across the Big Bash League, playing for the Hobart Hurricanes. Just some basic ground rules for the Fantasy 11. Obviously, there's no restrictions on who you can pick in the team. Obviously, a lot of fantasy leagues around the world for different sports and things like to give the players values, and you're allowed a set budget, and you can only pick certain players, but we don't really believe in that here. You can pick whoever you want to play, but if you do wish to change your team throughout the season, you can. You can swap out your two subs after each round. There are 5 rounds, so your two subs you can swap at any time. Swap players in and out with your two subs, but once you've set your 11 for the round, that is your 11 for the round. You have the 11 players on your team plus the two subs. The two subs won't score any points. Their points won't count towards your final tally for that round. The first round covers the first 6 matches this season, which allows each team to play twice during that period. So over the next week and a bit, each team will play twice. So that gives you great leeway in terms of which players you can use, because you can pick from any of the 6 teams in the Marsh One Day Cup. And just a quick overview of the point system. Each player will earn a point per run they score, so that's for the batsman. They'll score points for every run. Wickets are worth 15 each for the bowlers, so take a wicket, 15 points, take another wicket, 30 points. Points for the batsmen for scoring boundaries. For every boundary they hit, they'll score some bonus points, 4s and 6s, as well as milestones, of course, 50s and 100s will get some bonuses. However, it is minus 3 points for a duck. So if your batsman scores a duck, gets out for 0, minus 3 points. Bonus points as well for maidens, 5-wicket hauls, catches and run-outs as well. I believe catches are 4 points and run-outs are 6. So certainly points on offer in the field as well. And of course, double points for captain and 1.5 times points for vice-captains as well. So make sure you get your team in down below. Just in the comment section there, write up your 11 players. Remember to nominate a captain, a vice-captain, and a wicket-keeper. And you're in the draw. We are all set for an exciting game of cricket. Play is not too far away. Word from the WACA is that the home side, Western Australia, have won the toss and will bat first. And you can catch all the action from the 2019 Marsh One Day Cup on KO Sports, or you can follow live on the Cricket Australia live app, just like us. We'll be back later on with the halftime report, but in the meantime, enjoy the cricket. You're listening to Viper Sports Network. For all the latest news and updates from the 2019 Marsh One Day Cup, stay tuned to Viper Sports Network.